I don't think people understand Putin. Let's begin. Vladimir Putin, you've heard the name. For over 2 decades, this man has been at the helm of Russia, a vast and complicated nation. He's not just a president, he's become a symbol, a phenomenon in global politics. Understanding his journey is key to understanding a significant chunk of modern history. He emerged from relative obscurity, a quiet man from the shadowy world of espionage, to become one of the most powerful leaders on the planet. Since taking charge in 1999, he has overseen Russia's resurgence as a major international player. His leadership has reshaped Russia internally, creating what many describe as an authoritarian and militaristic society. His actions on the world stage have kept diplomats busy and headline writers even busier. This essay, then, is our attempt to unpack the Putin puzzle. So buckle up. Watch till the end, and if you enjoy the content, hit the subscribe button, like the video, and share it with someone who might like it. From spy kid to city hall, the making of a power player. So, where did this all begin? Vladimir Putin wasn't born into a political dynasty. His early life was modest, leading him to the KGB, the Soviet Union's formidable security agency. He served as an undercover agent in East Germany, stationed in Dresden. He was there, a 40-year-old operative, when the Berlin Wall came crashing down in 1989. Imagine watching your entire world order, the one you were sworn to protect, literally crumble before your eyes. The dissolution of the Soviet Union in 1991 was something Putin viewed with profound dismay. Russia lost vast territories, and 15 new countries emerged from its former self. For Putin, this wasn't just a political shift. It was, as he put it, a catastrophe. This sense of loss fueled a desire to see Russia reclaim its status. After the Soviet Union collapsed, Putin left the KGB in 1991. He transitioned into politics, starting in his hometown of St. Petersburg. There, he became the deputy mayor. He began to hone his political skills and build his network. The skills learned in the KGB, discretion, loyalty, strategic thinking, became hallmarks of his political style. The St. Petersburg years were a crucial training ground, preparing him for the much larger political arena of Moscow. The accidental president? Not quite. Putin's move from St. Petersburg to Moscow marked a significant chapter in his climb. In the late 1990s, Russia was chaotic, the economy was in shambles, and Yeltsin's government struggled. Putin was appointed prime minister in August 1999. Few knew much about him. The Second Chechen War catapulted Putin into the spotlight. Deadly apartment bombings in August 1999 killed over 300. The government blamed Chechen separatists. Putin adopted a hardline stance. This resonated with a public yearning for strong leadership. His approval rating skyrocketed. The war was brutal, with Grozny leveled. By early 2000, Chechnya was under firm Russian control. This military success cemented Putin's image. On New Year's Eve 1999, Yeltsin resigned. Putin became acting president. He won the presidential election in May 2000. The quiet man from St. Petersburg was now Russia's leader. Gap 2S. Before we dive into how Putin solidified his grip on power, it's crucial to understand the pivotal role media played in shaping his public image. This is Scene 4, The Power of Perception, Putin's media machine. Putin quickly realized that control over the narrative was essential for maintaining authority. Early in his presidency, he began to assert control over Russia's media landscape. Independent media outlets, once flourishing in the post-Soviet era, found themselves under siege. Journalists faced intimidation, and some even met untimely deaths under mysterious circumstances. The state took over major television networks, transforming them into mouthpieces for Kremlin propaganda. This allowed Putin to project an image of a strong, decisive leader, even as dissenting voices were silenced. News coverage was meticulously curated to highlight his achievements and downplay any failures or controversies. The internet, initially a bastion of free speech, didn't escape this tightening grip. New laws allowed the government to block websites and monitor online activity. Social media platforms were co-opted, with pro-Kremlin trolls and bots spreading disinformation and shaping public opinion. By controlling the flow of information, Putin crafted a narrative that resonated with many Russians. He was portrayed as the savior of the nation, the man who restored stability and pride to a country long plagued by chaos and corruption. Stay tuned as we explore how this media machine was just one part of Putin's strategy to build an unshakable grip on power. Section 4, Fortress Russia, building an unshakable grip on power. Once in the Kremlin, Putin didn't waste any time consolidating his authority. He surrounded himself with loyalists, often from his KGB past or his St. Petersburg days. Control over information became another cornerstone of Putin's power. He systematically brought Russia's influential television networks and major news outlets under state control. Independent media found itself increasingly squeezed. Television transformed into a powerful propaganda tool, shaping public perception. Alongside media control came a steady crackdown on human rights and civil liberties. The space for political opposition and public protest shrank dramatically. Laws were introduced to stifle dissent and restrict the activities of non-governmental organizations. When Putin's second consecutive presidential term was ending in 2008, he found a clever way around it. His hand-picked successor, Dmitry Medvedev, became president, and Putin slid into the prime minister's chair. Then, in 2012, he returned to the presidency, with presidential terms now extended. It was a masterclass in power retention. Section 5. Putin's Grand Plan, Remaking Russia and Ruffling Feathers Abroad. Domestically, Putin's policies focused on strengthening the power vertical, centralizing authority in the Kremlin. This involved reining in the power of regional governors, who became Kremlin appointees. He also oversaw reforms to the legal system and security services. On the international stage, Putin's primary objective has been to push back against a Western-dominated world order. He sought to reassert Russia as a global power, a counterweight to the United States and its allies. This meant challenging Western influence, particularly in regions Russia considers its near abroad. Strengthening ties with countries like Syria and Iran also became part of this strategy. In 2008, Russia invaded Georgia, supporting pro-Russian separatists. This was a clear signal that Russia was willing to use military force to protect its interests. Later, in 2011, Putin vocally opposed the Western-led military intervention in Libya. As Syria descended into a brutal civil war, Putin threw his support behind dictator Bashar al-Assad. This intervention cemented Russia's role as a key player in the Middle East. Beyond direct military action, Russia also significantly ramped up its cyber warfare capabilities. Section 6. The Price of Power, Sanctions, Oligarchs, and a Shaky Economy. The most significant foreign policy challenge under Putin has been Ukraine. In 2014, following Ukraine's pro-Western Maidan Revolution, Russia moved swiftly to annex Crimea. This was justified by Moscow as protecting the rights of ethnic Russians. The annexation was widely condemned internationally. Following Crimea's annexation, Russia further destabilized Ukraine by supporting separatist movements in the eastern Donbas region. The conflict quickly escalated into a protracted war. The international response to Russia's actions in Ukraine was a barrage of harsh Western sanctions. These measures targeted key sectors of the Russian economy. Russian banks and companies found themselves barred from Western trading markets. These sanctions, combined with falling global oil prices, hit the Russian economy hard. The ruble's value plummeted, inflation soared, and ordinary Russians felt the pinch. The energy industry faced significant challenges. Despite this, Putin largely maintained his political course. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please subscribe, like, and share it with your friends. Section 7. The Putin Era. What's the damage, and what's next? After more than 2 decades, what is the legacy of Vladimir Putin? He has undeniably transformed Russia. He took a country that was humiliated and weakened in the 1990s and re-established it as a formidable presence on the world stage. Domestically, his legacy is complex and contested. He brought a degree of stability after the chaos of the Yeltsin years. He centralized power, crushed dissent, and fostered an environment where loyalty to the state was paramount. This came at the cost of democratic freedoms and human rights. Internationally, Putin has successfully repositioned Russia as a key global player. He has challenged the post-Cold War unipolar moment, advocating for a multipolar world. This has led to deeply strained relations with the West. As of 2025, Vladimir Putin remains firmly in control. The long-term consequences of his rule are still unfolding. What happens after Putin eventually leaves the political stage? These are the multi-billion-dollar questions. His era will be studied, debated, and analyzed for generations to come.